Hi and welcome to Help We're Graduates. I'm Matt.
I'm Jamie.
And welcome back to episode 2 of our podcast. Thanks for everyone who has listened so far. And we've had some really great feedback. It's been really nice to hear from everyone. And just to let you know, we're now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search Help We're Graduates. And we're also on YouTube as well. And we have an Instagram page. And it's just at Help We Are Graduates.
Yeah, We Are Graduates, that one is, yeah.
Because I couldn't put an apostrophe in an Instagram app.
I noticed that when I tried to start a hashtag as well. You can't put punctuation in hashtags. So, yeah.
But we tried.
Yeah, we did try. Thanks to Matt for setting all that up. And thank you to all the support, like Matt said. I just want to reiterate thanks to everyone who's followed our page on Instagram, who's listened to us, who's gave us some feedback, who's told us what we did well, what we didn't do well, ways to improve, ideas. So yeah, we're going to steal some of those ideas and hopefully give you guys what you want to listen to. In episode 2, we said at the end of the last episode that we'd talk about the Post Uni Blues that I think me and Matt have definitely experienced.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's something that you don't even think about unless you properly think about it. And then I was like, oh my God, this is why I'm feeling all of these feelings. It's because we've finished uni and it's like, oh my, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. It is crazy.
Yeah, I remember all the celebrations of graduation and obviously finishing the dissertation and saying bye to everyone, like, oh, it's been really nice to spend 3 years with you, and then waking up the next day after graduation, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
What now?
What do I do? I'm pretty sure I just went back to work.
Yeah.
At the company.
Yeah, the company. Yes, the company. And speaking to a lot of people, I think a lot of people felt like that, and trying to get like an idea on why. And I think some people said that it was because of in life. I think you've got such a structure from like when you were born. You go to nursery, you go to primary school, you go to high school, you go to sixth form / college,
and you have to do these things.
Yeah.
Like it's the law that you have to go to all these things. Yeah.
And then you can make a choice, to be fair, after sixth form or college, and to go to university or to go straight into work. But I don't know about you, Matt, but it was always my idea to go to university.
Yeah, always.
So that for me was part of the structure. And then I think this past year now, I mean, I celebrated a year since I graduated about 2 days ago. And I think for this past year, it's the first time in my life when it's not been structured. It's not been a safety blanket of, oh, okay, this is what you're doing this year. This is your modules. This is education. You know, when you come out of education, I think you've never really experienced life without education. So I feel like that's why a lot of people do feel quite lost.
Yeah, because you go through this structured life and then suddenly you finish and there's no one there to sort of guide you into the next step. Mm-hmm. You're just expected to have got all this experience during school and university, and you're just expected to go out there and either find a job or, you know, do what you want to do. And I found myself comparing myself to people who have graduated before me, because obviously I did another year of sixth form because I may have failed my first year, but yeah, we'll just glance over that. And then I've been comparing myself to people who have graduated, and I've got friends who have graduated and now doing the jobs that they want to do, and it's really disheartening to think that we've all done the same thing. We've all got a degree, but some people have gone on to work in their chosen industry, and I'm sat in my bedroom in my parents' house. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm in the exact same boat. I had the gap year, and then I went to university, and I feel like you've just got to try your hardest not to compare yourself to other people, especially because, like we said in the first episode, our chosen career path is so different to a lot of career paths, because the creative industries that me and Matt want to get involved in, you know, it's not necessarily here's a job application, send us your CV, job done. Like there's a job. Like it's the case of you've got to be what they're looking for in my field of acting. You've got to have the certain look. You've got to have the talent to be able to do the role. And I'm guessing it's the same for you. You know?
Yeah. They don't really like. I'd never really been asked for a CV. And if I do, it'll just be like they want to know the real, you know, nitty gritty stuff. Mm-hmm. I do feel like it's who you know. and not what you know.
Yeah.
Most people I know who have got a job in, say, like radio, have got that job because they know someone.
Yeah. I think in the industry we want to go to, it's always been the case of it's not who you know, it's what you know. What Matt just said. So, but then it raises all eyebrows on. Okay, that means you've got to go out and you've got to network.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Matt, but networking can be a very daunting experience.
Not even, yeah, it's daunting, but also it's just like how, like, no one has ever told me how I should network. Like, I find it really weird going up to someone and I don't know, being like, "Hi, I'm Matt," and then they're like, "Hello," and then you've got to sort of start a conversation with them, and I find it really awkward. I don't know about you, but
I think being completely honest, I feel like I'm pushing myself too much when I'm trying to network, because I get a bit embarrassed about the thought that they actually might know that I'm trying to network here and I'm trying to use them to try and get in, not use them, but also use them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to get into something that I want to do. I mean, like, when going back to what I was talking about in the first episode, I've done a lot of extras work, and obviously, you know, I want to be an actor, and you want to sort of go up to some of these actors and be like, "Hi, you know, how did you get this part? Like, what's your process?" Like,
they don't really like that, though, do they?
no, and well, this is a generalization. Like, the idea is like, you know, extras can't go and talk to actors because they don't want to be bothered, and I understand that. But also, even if you could go and talk to them, me personally, I feel like I would feel embarrassed about the thought that they think I'm just going up to them to pit their brains and try and get like a part like they did.
Yeah.
So, and I that's just a personal thing. I don't know if everyone would feel the same, but I just feel a bit embarrassed with networking to the point where I feel like people will be like, you know, you're only using me to try and get into the industry, and that might not be the case. I mean, not gonna lie, I like making friends, so that's not the case. But I just feel embarrassed, and they might think that is the case.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that I went to uni with who started working, say, like at the BBC while they were still in uni, and I think they were a couple of years above me, but I would still go up to them like, "Well, how have you got that? What are you doing that's different to what I'm doing, and how are you suddenly working for the BBC?" And I'm not gonna lie, they kind of just told me to go away. Like, they didn't really help. They didn't seem to want to help. They were like really proud of themselves for getting this job, and it was like, well, I've managed to do it, so you should be able to do it too. And there was never any like support there, I think, from certain people, but then other people I'd spoke to had been really good about it. So I think it depends on who you go and talk to and who you're trying to network with. I think is definitely the biggest thing, because if you go up to someone who is like a famous actor or a famous DJ or something like that, I think you'd be a lot more nervous to network with them than, say, someone who is, you know, like quite low down in the field. Like, I don't know, for example, like in radio, it'd be someone who's, I don't know, a producer or a broadcast assistant. You know, I'd be a lot more inclined to go up to them and be like, "How have you done this? Like, give me all your secrets."
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly the same. I mean, like, I've spoke to like ADs on set, and then like the people who look after the extras and things like that, basically. And like with talking to them, they open up a lot more than talking to other people. I feel like, you know, as a generalization again, and they're very open about how they've got into working on TV, because it's not just about acting for me. I mean, I think I've always just wanted to be involved in TV in any way, so I've always had those ideas in my head of like, oh, how did you get this job? And like you said, I feel like I just find it a lot easier to talk to them. But I think the conclusion is that, you know, networking for our industry is a must. So it's something that we're going to probably have to learn to get better at, as, you know, we're only 23. So, and I think that's something that we have to remember a lot of the time is, you know, you can't expect to come out of uni at the age of 21, 22, or 23, you know, whatever age you're coming out of uni, and jump straight into a career in that industry. I think in a lot of cases, I'm talking for a lot of people here, maybe not everyone. Like I said last time, if you're doing a nursing degree, chances are you can probably get a nursing job straight away.
Out of uni.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the creative industries mainly, because I know a lot of my friends who did creative industry, everything ranging from fashion design to product design to television to radio, you know, everything, acting. Like they've all struggled.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
the industry the
Yeah.
way it is.
Yeah, but I know people. For example, our friend James, he did geography, and he's now working for a company doing something that he's always wanted to do, or something similar to what he's wanted to do, and he kind of got that straight out of uni. And then Abby is now in Liverpool, and she's working in forensic science, and that's what she's wanted to do. And so I do think it is definitely, we're quite biased towards our degree and our creative sort of creative media field, because that's what we're sort of that's what we want to go into, and that's the situation we're in. And I think it doesn't apply to everyone, because people do different things. And I know people who have done engineering and are now engineers, and people who have done aircraft engineering who are now in the Air Force. And so, yeah, but then there's people that do, like you said, fashion, who how do you break into fashion? Like, you can't come out of uni, and I think you just can't expect to come out of uni and go straight into a job in fashion.
I think as well, age has something to do with it, because I know for a fact that when I was looking at going to drama school, they were basically saying drama schools weren't taking many people who are 18. They were they wanted you to go have a couple of years experience, maybe do a few parts, and then go to drama school a bit older.
Okay.
Because the idea is that I think a lot of employers want you to have, especially in the creative industries, want you to have life experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's something that's sort of reassured me over this past year, when I felt a bit down when thinking about, post uni life. I thought, well, I am only 23, and I think going off what I was saying about drama school, if that applies to the industry as a whole, which I think it does, as a generalisation, then I think that maybe give it a few more years and a few more experiences, and then hopefully we'll get the sort of jobs that we want to get. Because if you're a head of a company and you've got someone who wants to do product design, for instance, and there's someone who left uni 10 years ago and has done 10 years freelance product design, and then and also has the degree behind them, and they're 31, you're going to choose them over someone who's just come out of uni, who's 21, who might still have a little bit of changing to do, who might have some more life experience to get. So I don't know, I feel like life experience also goes alongside parallel with your degree.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like a degree is as a few people I've spoke to, and have said they feel like their degree is a complete waste of time. Like, over the past year, they've been trying for jobs, and it's not happened. And I feel like, just hang in there.
Yeah.
Phil.
It's only a year.
Yeah.
Like, we're only, like you said, we're only 23 in our case. So, we've still got a lot of. I feel like we haven't got the work experience that some people have who are older. And like, I've only worked for the company, and I've done work experience and things like that, but nothing that's given me proper experience in a job. But I know people who are a lot younger, who didn't go to university, who have worked since school, and they've got, and I think they're more employable than we would be, even though we've got the degree.
Yeah.
Some people say, like, oh, you went to university, so you must have partied a lot and done not much of anything else. And like, when you apply for a job, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if you've applied for anything recently, but most of them will say, I'll search entry-level job, and it will say like minimum experience. We want some experience in this. And that's the thing that always either disheartens me, or I'll think, well, I'll apply anyway, but I know I'm not going to get it because I don't have this experience. And I don't understand how they expect you to have gone to university and to have got experience for an entry-level job. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe like they expect you to have the experience in university, like working or work experience. That's the one thing that has always, ever since I finished uni and I've been applying for jobs, I've looked, and it's been like, I've looked for an entry-level job, and it said, minimum experience, and it's baffling.
And most cases that I've looked, it's been about 2 years minimum experience.
But
I mean, I know. I don't know about your degree, but I know at my uni they offer a placement year, which is like a sort of sandwich year,
Yeah.
which you can do between the second and third year. I think most people do it. But it is so hard even in that case to get to secure a placement for a year. You're basically at uni at this point. You haven't even got the degree, and you're asking a company to sort of take you on as an intern.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like that's a lot as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just it's so hard to get a degree and experience. I feel like you at this point in your life when you're in your early 20s, you've rather got one or the other.
Yeah.
You've got the experience or you've got the degree. If you've got both, then fair play to you. Well done. You've done well.
I mean, if you've experienced it, get in touch with us. Like, message us on Instagram or something like that, or message our private socials if you know us personally, because I wanna hear if this is something that everyone is experiencing, or if it's just limited to our creative field kind of thing that we're trying to break into. Because I do feel like we can be a little bit biased towards the creative media industries and not take into consideration other courses and other industries, because I know I talk about it a lot because part of me really wants to be an engineer for some reason. I don't know why, but they do a sandwich year, and you most people do a 3-year course with a 1-year sandwich in the middle of work experience, and companies will take on people, and it's not hard at all to find this sandwich year. But for us, it's really, really difficult to.
But I don't understand, because especially I know acting. Everyone's always said it's a hard industry to get into, because it is what it is. But when I'm flicking through the channels, I'm seeing many a TV program with many actors on.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. There's a lot of actors out there, basically, I think, and there's a lot of radio stations as well.
Well,
like,
there is, but there isn't.
Yeah.
I think there used to be a lot more radio stations, and they've been bought up by Capital and Bauer Media and stuff like that. So I think there used to be a lot more independent ones, and the ones that are still independent are, like, I did Switch Radio in Birmingham, and that's just a community station, and it was voluntary. And as much as I really, really enjoyed it, the voluntary side of it meant that I had to put other things before it, like work at the company. So and as well, it sort of meant that I was putting in all this effort to make a radio show, and I wasn't really seeing anything come from it.
Yeah, you've exactly hit the nail on the head there for relating back to acting again. I'm part of these Facebook groups, Midlands actors and extras, also UK actors, and also social media is an amazing thing. I'm just going to put that out there now. Social media, when you're trying to find work in the creatives, there's people always wanting actors, there's people always wanting extras for things they're doing, even music videos. But a lot of the cases in these situations, they want you to come, spend a full day with them, or even a week or whatever it is, filming this part, and they can't pay you.
Yeah.
Which is, I get it if you're an undiscovered director, or you're an undiscovered producer, or a script writer, and you're trying to get your work out there. And obviously, as an undiscovered actor, I'm trying to get my work out there, so you can help each other.
Yeah.
But to the people who are a bit more discovered, I think it's hard, because a lot of people expect, if acting was my main job, they want me to go out and do my job for free, basically. And you wouldn't ask a plasterer or an electrician to come round and do their job for free.
Yeah, it's like they pay you in exposure.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've seen a meme, and it was like, how are you going to pay for this coffee? And it's like, I'll pay with my exposure.
Yeah.
And it is so true that it's, people don't realise that you have bills. We're lucky that we're living at home at the moment. We don't have rent and bills and all that just yet, but soon, I don't want to be living at home forever.
Yeah.
I want to be going and getting my own place.
And we're extremely lucky that the place that we work at is really flexible, so we can actually just say, okay, we can't do that day because I'm going to go and film this film, or I can't do those couple of days because I'm going to go film this film.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, people in my similar situation who do also want to break into theatre or film, or they can't. They don't have that flexibility of work. They're tied into a 9-to-5 contract, and if they want to go and film that film because it's going to be good exposure for them, they've got to take a day off, which means a day less holiday, or if they can take it off unpaid, they're not getting paid for that day when they could be earning money. So then I think that's why a lot of people talented people who I know will not break into the industry, because they'll get into a job where they're earning a suitable, sustainable income, and then they're going to get these other offers, and they're going to be like, oh, I've got to go do that for free when I can go to work and earn this money. So in fact, you know what, I'm just going to stick out on my job.
Yeah.
And then it'll be years down the line, and then, you know, they might have regrets.
Yeah. Well, you've just made me think actually that most of my experience is unpaid.
Yeah.
It was voluntary, either at like radio stations or work experience at radio stations. I don't think I've done very much. I think I did a little bit of TV work that was paid, but that was only for a day. Going back to the Post Uni Blues, which is the title of this episode, I want to talk about what some people have told us on our socials and stuff like that, because we've had a lot of people message us to say like this, it's really relatable for them, this kind of topic. So I know you've got a couple of examples there. Do you want to read one out?
I shouldn't really complain because I'm very lucky that I got a job relevant to my degree. I do enjoy my job, but it just doesn't feel satisfying. You're in education for 18 years to prepare for the real world, and when you get there, it just doesn't feel worth it. The wages are poor, progress seems years away, and I'll need to do yet more exams to get anywhere. So, yeah, this person has messaged privately, anonymously, and they've basically said that they're happy. They feel like they should be happy. They don't want to be ungrateful because they've got the job that they want to do with the degree that they've, you know, done. But the pay isn't great, which going back to similar to what we were saying with doing a lot of things for free. And not only that, they feel like progress within their company with their degree is still years away.
I can see like that they would sort of feel guilty because they've got a job and that it's in the industry, but they're not as happy as they thought they would be.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just something that if you want to work in the industry, then you've just got to take the bad job before you get the good job, if you know what I mean, because you've got to build up to getting these good things. But I can understand that they feel guilty because a lot of people don't have any job in what they want to do. Like, I'm not working in exactly what I want to do right now, and I don't think you're doing what you want to do either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people walk out of their degree and they expect to be at a certain level, but I think going into entry level is really important. I've got another one here. This person says, I miss the social life.
Yeah.
The freedom of living away from home, being able to walk to everyone's flat for a catch-up. Now I've been on the job hunt but got nowhere. I question the last 3 years of my degree massively.
I can understand that, and I've got someone else who said that university feels like a bubble because you're with your friends all the time, you're going out with your friends, you live with your friends. So I can completely relate to that. I do feel like
it's crazy because obviously we all lived in a city. I don't know about you, but we all live quite nearby to each other. DMU is really good with the campus. Everyone's accommodation is pretty near to each other, and it's near to the town, so we didn't have to drive anywhere. We just walked to each other's. We just got to see each other all the time. We made an effort to sort of, oh, what are you doing tonight? Oh, let's go get some food. Let's just go and chill. Oh, should we go out tonight? And you know, and I for one really, really miss that.
Yeah.
I miss so much. I mean, I was recently looking at loads of old Snapchat videos. It doesn't help that on Snapchat it comes up with this time last year you were doing this.
Yeah,
and,
it's quite depressing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and then this time 2 years ago you were doing this, and it's like, and what am I doing now? So, but yeah, it was a big adjustment coming home. And my other friend actually, this ties in well. He said he found it hard to move out of the city back to the countryside because he felt quite lonely and isolated. No one his age.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that.
Yeah.
Like Salford was right next to Manchester. I mean, we could walk into Manchester city centre in about 10-15 minutes. And all, you know, there was shops all around, there was bars, there was cafes, there was restaurants, and you didn't really have to you didn't have to drive, and there was public transport. So if you did go out, you could get back easily. Taxis weren't too expensive, and then moving back to the village here where I live is just, it's like going from one world to another. And I've always got to ask for lifts if I want to go out or stay at someone's house. You know, everything, the closest town is about 20 minutes away, which doesn't sound that bad. But like, I always have to plan everything in advance to make sure that I can get there and get back. It just feels like you sort of get your freedom taken away from you, living away from somewhere like that. And I can like understand that people who live in a city might not realised that
Mm-hmm.
they can just do whatever they want whenever they want and don't have to worry too much. Like public transport here, buses I think are every hour or something ridiculous. If you miss that bus, it's like, oh, I remember missing the bus before work and having to wait
Mm.
an hour and then having to run down the street to get to
Yeah.
work and get shouted at by a supervisor.
But then the opposite to that is in the city centre. The one thing that I hated was that I had nowhere to park my car.
Yeah.
You could never find a car parking space. I got so many tickets. But yeah, I've really missed hanging out with people at uni, going to people's flats. I
Yeah.
feel like that's one thing that a lot of people took for granted. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna beat around the bush about it. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people definitely took it for granted when we were at uni that we could just go down the road and see each other at any one point, and we'd just go out and we'd go on these amazing nights out. And then, like I said, I woke up and it was all just over. And most people moved back home to their hometowns, or they moved on to their master's degree somewhere else. Or
Yeah.
and there's barely anyone that I know that I'm really close to still in Leicester. Well, there's a few. Don't get me wrong. I can't forget about some of my best friends who are still in Leicester.
Mm.
But you know, most people are gone now, and it's sad. And I don't know if you've been back to Salford, but obviously because I've been back, because my friends still live in Leicester,
Mm.
I've walked around the uni with them, and it's just so weird. It's quite eerie
Yeah.
because so and so used to live there, or we did that there, and it's all just sort of over.
Yeah. Does it feel like you're not allowed to be there, or you shouldn't be there?
Yeah.
Because for me, it felt like Manchester felt like my home, and now whenever I go back to Manchester, I don't feel part of it as much as I did when I was at uni there. And that's
Mhm.
one thing that I have found really strange, is that as soon as I moved back, I felt like I didn't really have a one place that I called
Mhm.
like that I felt the most comfortable in, because we live near Birmingham, and Birmingham for me has never really felt like my home. But Manchester did when I was at uni there, because all my friends were there. We go on nights out there, and when people said to me like, "Where are you going to uni?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Salford near Manchester," and it just felt, I don't know, I felt like I had a place, and then I
Yeah.
came back and suddenly I don't have a place anymore. So
So how many people that you went to uni with and that you're really close to are still in Manchester? Is there a few, or?
there are, yeah, there's a good few, but a couple of them lived near Manchester to begin with. They didn't live at uni; they lived at home and commuted in. One of them lived in Liverpool, which I mean isn't very far from Manchester, but no, probably 80% of people that I know have moved back or
Yeah.
moved on from Manchester.
And I think that's maybe why that when we go back, you do feel like you're sort of trespassing on like
Maybe because your friends aren't there anymore.
Yeah, because it's like, well, this is where everything happened, and now it's not happening. But
Mm.
it seems so familiar. Like, I know it sounds really dramatic, but it does sound so familiar. But it's not anymore
Yeah.
because it's not the same. Which is why I've thought about going back and doing a masters, because I actually want to. Well, I've always thought about doing a masters, and I spoke about it in episode 1. But I don't know if I would want to do it at DMU now, just for the simple fact that everyone's moved away, and it would just feel so different. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, sort of like when they make those like dodgy sequels with a whole new cast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You'd feel like one of those actors
Yeah.
who shouldn't really be in there. So
Yeah.
they change an actor halfway through
Yeah.
the series.
It's
Yeah.
like, have you ever seen Grease 2?
No, I haven't
Okay,
seen
well,
Grease
anyone
2.
that's seen Grease 2, the only original character that's in it is Frenchie, is it, with the hair, the pink hair in the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah.
She's the only original character in Grease 2, so I'd feel like Frenchie in Grease 2,
Mm.
which is one of the reasons why I probably want to go back and do a masters right now.
A master's. One of my friends put it quite well. She was like, everyone, or not everyone, but most people have degrees now.
Yeah.
And she was like, you need something that's going to make you stand out from the crowd. But when I then spoke to people who work for me, it was in the radio industry, they were like, well, we don't really care about if you've got a degree or if you've got masters. They care if you're good and if you've got experience.
Yeah.
So maybe for us, masters is more if you want to get into the academic side of a subject. I can understand why someone who's doing maths would do a master's
Yeah.
or a science subject, because it makes sense. You need to learn as much as you can. But for us, maybe a master's isn't the best thing, or the best, because it does cost a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a year of your life that you could be doing other things.
Yeah, and I know, and like we said earlier, I think it's important to have the degree and then have the experience after the degree. So if you're going and doing a master's, that's another year now that we will be, like, if I did a master's now, I'd be finishing when I'm 24,
Yeah.
like almost 25, and then I've got to come out of that, and then I might not still get a job, and then I've got to try and get experience in companies that want you to have 2 years experience already.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a constant battle, I think.
You've always got to think about whether or not it will help you. I think
Yeah.
that is the main thing. Like, will a master's help you get a better job? And it might help you get a better job in something that isn't in the creatives, but I don't think it would help you get a job as an actor.
Mm.
You don't really hear about people who are famous actors and like, oh yeah, they've got a master.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well.
there's a few exceptions, like in The Big Bang Theory, a couple of them have got, they're doctors, aren't they? They've got doctorates.
Doctorates in acting?
No,
Oh, okay.
doctorates in like sciences and stuff like that.
Because I know you can get like doctorates in most things. I
Yeah,
know
you
there's
can, yeah.
Doctorates in drama and things like that.
But that's more the academic side, isn't it, than as an actual actor or an actual
Yeah.
presenter or whatever.
Yeah, but going back to the original topic of our of this episode, Post Uni Blues, I feel like it's definitely something that affects everyone differently. Some people couldn't wait to get out of uni. Like, let's be honest, some people, and I think you can imagine the sort of type of people I'm talking about. I know quite a few people who are quite excited to finish uni,
Yeah.
to get back home maybe, or to start anew somewhere else. They're quite, refreshing people who like change and
Yeah.
like to keep refreshing, every 3 years.
Yeah, or they lived at home and commuted into uni.
Yeah.
And then for them, they didn't really, they were just at home. They didn't really connect with the place where they were going to because they lived there.
Yeah.
Like we love the city that we went to.
Yeah.
Cities that we went to, and they just sort of, it's just, that's their city, that's where they live, and so they were just like, uni's finished now, let's carry on. I feel like if you don't live in the city that you are studying in, if you don't go to halls or whatever, then you don't sort of get the same experience in terms of like when you finish. You don't get the blues as bad. I think.
Yeah.
You don't miss it as much.
No. I mean, again, that's a generalisation, so some people might.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Yeah, of
speaking to people that we've spoken to, they wouldn't feel the exact same way as us, because I suppose their uni experience was similar to us going to college or school, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you're not living there. You don't take your whole life, box it up, drive 2 hours up the road in your case, move into a complete new place on your own,
Where
and then start everything afresh, basically. And then 3 years later, get sent, box everything back up and get sent home.
Yeah.
And, have a piece of paper framed at the end of your bed.
Which is absolutely, it's crazy to think that, isn't it? Which is literally my situation, because my degree is there and all my stuff is boxed up in another room. Like, it's been a year since we graduated. I think it's literally been just a couple of days and a year that I graduated, and it feels like no time has passed at all. It feels like it was yesterday.
Do you think that maybe, and this is just me, basically coming up with theories here, I feel like maybe it's because, like what I was saying earlier, everything has a step in life. So, like, when you're going up to the next year, so now, for instance, if we were still in education, we'd now be going up to the following year. So we'd feel like we've done something with the past year because we're progressing up to the next year of uni or the next year of something.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no necessary step, there's no comfort blanket in the sense of, okay, this is what you're going to do next. If someone's telling you that this is what it is, it's the case of now you're out here on your own, and that's why they say that time goes faster as you get older, I suppose, because now everything that you're doing is your own decisions, and you're shaping your whole future. But that can also be a really scary thing.
Yeah, no, that 100%, that is probably the scariest bit about not being in education anymore, is that you've got no one there to tell you that next year you're going to be working on this, and you don't forget you've got your final project and your dissertation to do. There's none of that. There's no one who is actually, the only person that's motivating you is you. And that is quite a scary situation to be in. Yeah,
but do you sometimes feel a bit motivated by people around you? I know you were saying that you compare yourself to people, but I know for a fact that I feel like there's sort of like a sell-by date, that an expiry date, that one day in the future that someone's going to come to me and say, so what have you done since you've left uni? And it's like you sort of want to have these things to show for what you've done since you've left uni, and you don't want to let anyone down. Like, I don't want to let my mum and dad down, for instance. You don't want to let people down. You want to show people that you're capable of doing these things, but sometimes obstacles can stand in the way, such as, oh, we want you to have 2 years experience, and it's not always advisable, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is you don't want to let people down, but at the same time, you're not really letting anyone down, are you?
Yeah, I know.
Just because we haven't got a job in the field that we want, like I always think we chose to work, that we wanted to work. You wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
I wanted to work in radio. We chose that. We chose a degree because of it. And so really the only people that we've got to like answer to is ourselves. And there's no harm in saying, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I've tried it. I'm not enjoying it. Like I thought I wanted to work in TV because that's why I did TV and radio as a degree, and that's why I chose Salford because Media City is like literally there. Did some jobs in TV, started doing work experience, and thought this isn't for me. I don't like it. Whereas radio, I thought it wasn't really my main thing, but then I thought, do you know what? Let's give that a go, and really loved it. So, you know, you can change your mind, and there's no problem with that. You could want to be an actor, and then I don't know, one day you fall and hurt yourself, and someone helps you, and then you think maybe I want to be a paramedic or something, you know. And there's no harm in there's no problem with that, but there is always that thing in the back of your head saying, well, I went to uni to be an actor, so I should still be pursuing this.
Yeah, and which is why I did the joint honours degree in arts and festivals management, because I knew I always wanted to be an actor. That's always been my forte. But then the more and more I started going to big festivals and events, and I started getting involved in different types of music,
Yeah.
the more I started to realise that, okay, I wanted to be an actor since I was like 5 years old. Like the first time I ever went on stage, I was 5.
That's cool.
And then and I wanted to do that, and then I wanted to get involved in TV and film the first time I saw Back to the Future trilogy, because that was my inspiration.
And we know that you love Back to the Future.
Yeah, I do love Back to the Future. Plugging that, if no one's ever seen it, you should go out and watch it. And yeah, but then as I got to like 18, I started going to festivals, I started going to concerts, I started getting involved in different types of music, and that's why I found this perfect degree in arts and festivals management, which is a weird degree. I liked it because it was weird, to be fair, because it was different, and also there's a lot of academic in it that I can then transfer to other skills.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like, going off what you're saying, it is okay to sort of change your mind. I thought that I was being a bit what's the word? I was 5 years old and I wanted to be an actor. Now I'm 18 and I want to get involved in the music industry, and it's like, well, what do you actually want to do?
Yeah, you're kind of thinking like, make your mind up.
That's fine. Yeah, make your mind up. But I feel like people even in their 30s, they change their career.
I know people who are like 50 and wanted to try something new, and just went for it. Like, there's no harm in that.
Going back to what we were saying about different types of people in uni for a second, I feel like certain people miss uni for the degree, and certain people miss uni for the social. I'm sort of in the middle, in the case of I do miss a lot of the things that we did on the degree and the sort of creativity aspect of it. But I think I mainly do miss the social. I miss my friends. I miss the city. You know, so I know I'm talking for different people, because different people have different experiences of uni. Therefore, people are going to have different experiences of post-uni.
Yeah.
And therefore, post-uni blues. So, you know, like some people may have travelled into uni every day and worked from home, but have amazing friends on their course who they miss, just like I suppose we miss friends from school.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I know for me, I definitely miss the social, you know. I think you were saying before that you've got a friend who misses the course in terms of they had a lot more creativity.
Yeah. So someone that I think I do as well. I miss being able to do everything that I wanted to do, because at uni, you know, you all work on a project, and say you do, like, you direct, you produce, you present, you edit, you do every single job. And then when you go to start your career, you start from the bottom, which I understand, and everyone starts from the bottom. But it is just such a massive step to be doing all these things and thinking that you're like the be all and end all because you've directed something. And then suddenly they're like, no, you're working at the bottom, you're a runner. It is such a weird jump for me personally to go from making all these products at university to then being told, well, no, you're now a runner, you're at the bottom, and you'll get the tea and coffee. But in radio, I think that's why I didn't like TV quite as much, because I didn't like the fact that I was being talked down to by all these people. But radio, you know, I did work experience, and I could make things that got broadcast on air. I could talk to the presenters, I could talk to the producers. I helped produce programs. I went out with journalists and helped make stories and report on things. and it felt like I wasn't just this like starting from the bottom. I was coming in as an equal. Maybe that's why I don't know. I'm just doing a bit of self-reflection now because I've just realised maybe that's why I didn't like TV quite as much. But that's why you need to. I think everyone, if you do start feeling like these post uni blues, you do need to take a step back and think, well, why am I feeling this? Why?
Because
what is the reason?
Yeah. Because I'm not about putting people in boxes. Don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like you can be anywhere on this spectrum, but I feel like everyone surely must fit in somewhere. In the case of you're either missing the social, you're missing both, you're missing your degree, you're missing the freedom, you're missing you're missing certain things.
I think everyone misses the freedom.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, but going off what you were saying, I don't miss that part of the degree because I've always, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love creativity in the sense of if I've got an idea for a production, I'd love to put it forward.
Yeah.
But then I'd like a director to then take over and direct it because I'm not a director. I want to be an actor. I've never wanted to be a director. I've never wanted to be all these things. And I think we touched on it in the first episode that there's barely anyone that is all of these things in the creative industry.
I don't think anyone is.
No one's quite. I mean, someone might have done every single thing, but in which case, like there might have been a director, then there might have been an actor, and there might have been a producer. But in which case they're probably a lot older, but then they're going to stick to one thing.
Yeah, like everyone has something that they're good at, don't they? Yeah. You might be good at a couple of things, but there's always one thing that someone finds that they're like, yeah, this is my calling.
Yeah, because you've got going back to acting, you've got famous actors who have also directed things, but they're either if they're in something, they're probably rather acting or directing it. They're not both.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand with it. That's why I quite like the idea of going into the industry now and having that idea of being within one of those things.
It is just social media, I think I just want to touch on that, is something that I've sort of taken a step back from recently, because I was comparing myself to everyone, and social media, I then realised that what people are putting on social media, like, you only put on the good things, don't you? If you sat in your room crying at 2 a.m, you're not going to post a story about it, are you?
Oh, some people might.
Well, but like, if you're working on a shoot, you're going to put a thing on your story saying, look at me, I'm working on this thing. And I think social media it's really good, and I really like it. I love the instantaneousness of it all. But at the same time, you really need to remember that what people are putting on social media isn't true, or not all of it's true. You can't take it all as gospel. And I've started to, like, I don't go through Snapchat stories anymore.
Yeah.
I don't go on Instagram stories very much anymore because I've realised that what people are posting on there, it isn't true.
Yeah.
And maybe that's contributing a little bit towards these blues after university, because you're seeing what like a handful of your friends are doing, and they might be working in the industry you want to work in, and just because they are and they're posting it on social media, you're seeing it, and it's sort of making you think, well, why am I not doing that? And then you'll think you're inferior. I don't know if you've
definitely. I feel like that's something that I think every single person our age has experienced at one point or another. It's a generational thing, with social media. Like I said earlier, it can be an amazing thing. It can be a chance to connect with people you wouldn't usually have the chance to connect with, and get the jobs, like I was saying earlier, on these groups. I would suggest if there's any actors out there and who want to try and break into the industry, get on these pages, do these jobs for free, and then get some show reels together. But it also has its downfall, like Matt was just saying. I know I've seen a few things on social media, and you're like, oh, quite jealous of that. I want to be doing that. Jealousy is a big thing, and like, I'm not scared to admit it, that you can sort of see one thing, and it makes you feel less. I don't know. It makes you feel not as good about what you're doing, even though what you're doing might be right for what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you're seeing it someone else, you're saying, especially age for me is a big thing. If someone my age is doing something like that, then I want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I suppose it might have a benefit, flipping it completely on the other side. It might push you more. Maybe.
Yeah, motivate you to go out
and
do that thing. Yeah, I think for me it definitely did. To start with, if I saw someone was doing something I wanted to do, or was working in a job I wanted to work in, I would be so down, and I'd just get into like a downward spiral where I was getting really, really down about it, and I wouldn't come out of my room because I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
And then probably half a day later, I think, well, actually, there's no point sitting and thinking about it. I might as well get onto some job sites and apply for some jobs, or go into those social media groups that you're talking about, the Facebook groups, and applying for things on that. Because even though you're looking at it and you're seeing that people are doing all these good things, and it might make you, as soon as you see it, you might think, oh, why am I not doing that? I think it does have that flip side where it does motivate you to go out and to get that job, and maybe it might be beneficial.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's all about being self-motivated.
Yeah.
For the first time in our lives, this past year has been the first year of our lives that no one's been telling us that this is what we're doing. These are the modules. It's up to us to sort of. So I know for myself, I assign myself little projects, especially during lockdown. I've been assigning myself things that might actually help me in the long run. Like I did an online course in marketing, which, you know, I'm not gonna lie, was absolutely solid, and it was so hard. I didn't expect it to be that hard, but I did an online course in marketing and got a little certificate out of it that, you know, now I put on my CV, and I'm like, during lockdown I did this, and I feel like it's important to utilize the time that, you know, you've got to do things to go forward, and just gotta stay motivated. If something knocks you back, like all these job rejections, for instance. You know, we've had a few now. Yeah. I've had a few.
Yeah.
Or I've had people just not get back to me, which I was speaking to my mum about, and she said that's the thing for our generation, which I didn't realise, because she was saying that when they were younger applying for jobs or whatever, they'd always hear back. They'd always have some kind of, you know, constructive criticism or something, or, you know, sorry, you're not right for this role because of this, or you know, it wouldn't just be a no, or they're not going to hear back at all. That's
the one thing I think that is the most disheartening about applying for jobs, is you don't ever get, like most jobs, I'd never hear anything back. I don't even hear a thing that says you haven't got the job. There's only been a couple that they've emailed me and said, I'm really sorry, you haven't got the job. And it's like, well, how do you know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong in that application? Maybe I'm doing something that's really, really bad, and I don't even know it because no one's telling me.
Probably.
Imagine if my CV, I've got something on my CV which I really shouldn't have, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like, we did CV masterclasses at uni, and I'd followed everything that they said on the masterclass, but maybe they were giving us false information as well.
Yeah. Did you ever get those notifications from, like, Indeed that says they've looked at your job, they've looked at your CV? I get notifications that says the company's looked at my CV, and I'm like, oh, great. Brilliant. At least I know they've looked at it.
I just found this post on LinkedIn, and I wanna talk about it because it literally sums it up completely. I'm not going to say who it's by, but it basically reads, "Dear applicant, we regret to inform you that we will not be progressing your application any further on this occasion. Thank you for completing the 2,500 word personal statement, the one-page summary critically evaluating our competitors' recent campaigns, the salary expectations box when we said the role was entry level, but we actually expect you to have extensive experience, and for submitting your CV and inputting your entire work history into a terribly formatted online form. Due to the volume of applicants, we were unable to offer any individual feedback at this stage." I think that just, like, it summed it up. When I read it, I was like, oh my God, someone else is going through this, someone else is experiencing this too. And like 300 people liked it a couple of days after she'd posted it. And I was just like, if there's one thing to take from that, it's that, you know, you're not the only person that's experiencing it. Like, everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. I hate having to put in, when I've got a CV that says everything, I hate having to put in my history into a website which looks like it was made in 1998. I hate it. I can't be doing with it because I've got a CV there. Like, and you know, chances are I'm not going to get this job. So why am I spending 2 hours writing and doing all this stuff?
And more, like half a day I normally spend on it,
on applications, and it's, you know, but then you feel like if you don't do it and you just send a CV off, you know, it's the effort that you put in, I suppose, to get the job. But I don't know. It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one
because you know, you could put in all this effort, and then most times you're going to get rejected. But then one day you might put in all this effort, and you might get the job that you want. And I suppose it is more personal than sending out your CV.
Like, I can understand where if someone would say, well, you know, you've chosen to go into the creative industries, you knew how hard it was going to be to get a job, so why are you complaining about it? But then you've got to also think that I never really realised how difficult it would be to get into it. I knew it'd be hard.
Yeah.
but I never thought it'd be that hard. I thought maybe if I had the work experience at the Radio Manchester that I did, I thought, oh, that, you know, maybe they'll offer me a job after that, because that's how a couple of my friends got in, and that never happened. And so, yeah, I can understand that, you know, we did choose to get into a hard field. If we'd have chosen something easier, like, I don't know, well, nothing's really easy anymore, but if we'd chosen teaching, for example, you know, you're kind of guaranteed a job after that, or nursing, you're kind of guaranteed a job. Like, we're all feeling this post uni blues, and we're all feeling a bit meh after leaving uni. We haven't got the jobs we want.
Especially, just want to touch on the current situation with the global pandemic we're experiencing. So
yeah, I mean, that's like the biggest like nail in the butt, isn't it? Because it's meant, like, I know so many people who were working in the industries who they've lost their jobs, and they've just got nothing to look forward to because they don't know if that job's gonna come back. So the pandemic has sort of been the worst thing that could have happened to us.
Yeah, but I'm so glad that we didn't finish our degree and graduate like this year, for instance. I'm glad that we had our graduation. We were able to finish our degree.
Actually, yeah.
And you know, it wasn't in a pandemic then.
That's true.
Because I know a lot of people who are not getting graduations this year. I know a lot of people who are going to uni and not having a freshers.
Which is crazy.
Because that's when I made most of my friends. Not so obviously no, but there's a lot of support out there for these people. So hopefully that's okay. But yeah, it's definitely been a crazy year. But that's why I'm enjoying these podcasts, because it's nice to actually speak about it openly, and you feel better for talking about it. And hopefully listeners might feel like they relate to some things, they might feel like they don't relate to some things. But that's why it's really important for you guys to try and get in touch with us on our socials, privately or on the Help We're Graduates Instagram page. And let us know what you think. If you think that we're hitting the right notes, if you think that we're not. And we just want to know what everyone else's experience is, because like Matt said, everyone's got such a different experience of post-uni blues. But I believe it's a definite thing that I think everyone experiences. Even if you experience it for one day, if you've been to uni, you're probably going to get post-uni blues. And it's something that definitely needs talking about a lot more. You know, not just in terms of jobs and degree, but also in terms of the social. So, you know, and trying not to take job rejections to heart. Trying to stay positive, trying to keep yourself motivated, not procrastinating. You know,
Netflix
and YouTube. No, you know, get out there and do some experience. I don't know, learn to plaster a wall. I don't know, but you know, hopefully we're hitting on some things that might, you know, be beneficial to people.
And if you haven't got anything to say, like Jamie said, message us on our socials. Instagram is @HelpWeAreGraduates, because you can't do apostrophes isn't in an @ thing, or a hashtag, as you found out. So I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover about post-uni blues. But if you do have anything else that you want to add, just get in touch with us, drop us a message or whatever, because there's probably so many things that we haven't touched on. So many different. Everyone's got such a unique experience, and if you want to talk about it, then we'll get you on the podcast, and we want to hear from other people, because you know we've only got our experiences in these sort of in the media and acting and stuff like that, whereas there's so many just such a massive range of different specialities and different areas to work in, that we're sort of only hitting the nail on the head a little bit, aren't we? You know, there's so much more that we could talk about that we don't have experience in, and we would need to hear from other people in order to cover that. Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoyed, just one last thing, I thoroughly enjoyed talking about the networking side as well. So if anyone's got any things to suggest / talk about in terms of networking within the creative industries or any industry, me and Matt would really love to hear that. And CV tips as well. CV tips, anything. Just send us everything. Like, you know, send us your CV. Like, we'll hire you. We'll hire you as an editor. So no, I don't think we can afford that. But anyway, so going forward into episode 3, hopefully, if we get renewed for a 3rd episode. Hopefully. We want to talk about the coronavirus. Yeah, we want to go more in depth with the coronavirus and how that has affected us, especially over the past 4 months since we were trying to apply for jobs, and how that's changed now, how the world has changed, and what we think might happen next, you know, going forward. We're hoping to get a couple of other people on the show as well, like Matt said, to talk about their experiences. If you do want to get on the show, on the podcast, get in touch with us, because we want to hear from you. Yeah, we do want to hear from you guys, so let us know. Cool. So follow us on Instagram at Help We Are Graduates. Follow us on Spotify. Just search Help We're Graduates. We're now on Apple Podcasts, so search Help We're Graduates. Give us a little subscription on there. And we're going to upload these every Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah.
So this has gone up today, Saturday.
Yep.
If you're
the
not
25th of July.
Yep. I mean, if you're listening at some point in the future, which you probably are, then this was uploaded on Saturday. But we're going to try and do it every single Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just let us know. But in the meantime, I'm Jamie.
You're Jack.
Yeah.
And I'm Matt.
That was meant to be Jamie and Matt put together. It was Jat. We're Jat, and we're also Help We're Graduates. So yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye.